All right. Here we go.
Here we
Bean in
go.
the bat.
Number 5.
And
Number 5.
if you guys saw last night, yes, I had 5 heart attacks and I recovered after those 5 heart attacks. So
You
I
did good.
was not ready for Hiller to actually physically be in the chat. And then when I looked at it and he's like, "Don't let this derail you." I was like, "Dude,
Too late.
derailed." So
I mean, you did good though. You did really good though.
but it was really cool. I appreciate it a lot. I don't know how he knew that we were going live, but thank you very much for jumping in and talking. And he spelled your name right, and he called you by name.
He did.
He did not
So
call you Terry. He
he
called
did
you
not.
Colleen.
He did not. And so, I mean, if we're keeping points, he definitely has more points, has an extra point than Savon does. Because
He actually knew your name. Aw, thank you, Jeffrey number 1. Appreciate you.
yeah. No, you did good. You did
It
good.
was so I was just my brain just shut down like immediately.
Was it more the shock factor that kind of like set everything off, or
Yeah, I had no idea. I
Yeah.
really didn't. I had no idea. It just wasn't. I had no idea. I
Yeah.
don't know. I still don't know how he knew. So if anybody finds out how he knew, please send it my way because I have no idea how he knew.
But I think it's one of those things where it doesn't really matter how he got here.
I know, it was
It's
cool.
just the fact that he's here. So that's super, super cool.
All right, so we're doing round 5 of the Bean in the Bat. This is kind of a cool week. I kind of alluded to it last week, but let's just start let's start with the food slides because her food is freaking amazing, and I want to show that. And also, the food, it looks like a lot of food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As you scroll through it, that's a lot of food.
And she is counting her macros. Like, is she weighing her stuff? Do you know?
I mean, honestly, what she said was, I don't know. I don't know if she's sharing that yet. I think
Mhm.
she said she weighs it,
Okay.
but I don't think she's telling us like it. I don't know. There's stuff she's leaving out that she
Yeah.
wants to leave out on purpose.
Mhm.
So forgive me for that. But those are my favorite, baby. You used to make those but in bell peppers.
Bell
Jeff, go
peppers.
back.
Yep.
Go back one, Jeff. You used to do all that just with bell peppers, and that was a lot of food.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious what she's out here trying to yeah, this to Judy. Yeah, I do the same thing. I love Judy Reed. I love how she eats dinner for breakfast, vice versa. Very outside the box. I do the same thing. I have to have dinner for breakfast. I can't I don't know why. I have to have chicken in the morning. But
I think what it does to, Judy's point, and you know, it doesn't always have to, like, we're in this stigma that like breakfast has to be breakfast food, and whatever the definition of breakfast food is: eggs, cereals, toast, omelets, whatever. But not everybody likes that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, as long as you're eating high quality, nutrient dense food, you get to kind of figure that out, what works best for you. So some days I really want, eggs in the morning. That's what I'm craving. But there are also some days where it's like, I don't want to look at another egg again. What can I eat in replace of that? And I love this whole idea about keeping it simple too. So to go back to, I know she does them in the squash bowls. I used to do them in peppers. It's
Yeah.
like how, and we kind of do this now when I do, or when I cook like turkey burger and stuff like that, a ground turkey, I literally just put as much stuff in there as I can. Or if I make rice, I add quinoa to it because quinoa has a higher protein in there. And then within the rice and quinoa, I'm just throwing like vegetables in there too. So it's one of those things where it's like, keep it simple and kind of it's, for me, it's easier to kind of throw everything in while I'm cooking. That way you don't have to think about, oh my gosh, does this need to be, what am I missing?
Food is food. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Food is food, and good, high quality nutrient dense food is super cool.
I'm just curious because she's getting a lot of questions, and I know that I mean, it was a while ago that you did this Stacy Tovar,
A
um,
while ago, yeah.
uh, Judy Reed. Yes, we've done breakfast for dinner, but not sure why it never occurred to me to eat steak, etc.
In the
In the
morning, yeah,
morning. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
I
the
do. I
her
don't mind it. I'm kind of opposite.
But her last sentence, really quick, I'm gonna pull that back up or whatever. She opened my eyes. I love that statement more than anything because it gets you to think like, oh, I've never thought of that. And it doesn't have to be a restriction of I can't do that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, you know what?
you
I've
can
never
still eat
thought,
it. Yeah,
yeah, I've never thought that way. I've never thought, oh my God, I can have steak, with breakfast, like without eggs. You hear the whole steak and eggs thing, but food, Jeffrey said it perfectly. Food is food. And as long as you're getting those nutrient dense foods, like eat what
I
fills you
just
up.
saw her getting a lot of comments about she's eating too much, right?
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and she's 20 pounds down already.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last chalkboard that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it does. That food looks like a lot of food. And she even said a couple of times that she doesn't eat it all. She
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's a misconception that they're throwing out there now that's really cool, is that you can eat and still lose weight. It's not almost like you're probably not eating enough.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was just I know you went through that because you went through the Stacy Tovar program.
Yeah. I mean, hi, Jan.
Yes, we're beginning right
I'm
now.
glad that,
Thank you.
thank you for
Appreciate you.
that. um, yeah, I've tried a couple different things. Like I really have. I did Stacy Tovar kind of on myself and I did it for a little while and didn't really commit too much to it. Because for me, my body, permission granted. um, my body doesn't um mesh with vegetables sometimes, like those
Yeah.
high fiber kind of vegetables or whatever, they bloat me out really bad. So what I would do is that if they bloated me out, I would stop eating them. And so then I would go back to other things. It wasn't until I got with my second nutritionist, who is Christina, as she was very good, but that was more on a for a lack of better term, like a restrictive diet. Like I really wanted to see what my body could do and what it could look like. And this was, yes, thank you, Jeffrey. um, so with her,
He always has SAT words.
listen, it's cool. Or are things in my house that Judy says. I kind of restricted a lot to see how my body would respond to a lot of foods, and it was great, but I cut a lot of things out. So it was very difficult lifestyle wise of kind of what I was looking to do. I did that for a little while. She introduced me to counting macros, which was an eye opener to me. But when I started doing that, it very much was, I did the same thing. Like I kept the same thing. I'd find one thing, I'd put it into the system, and I literally would eat the same thing all the time. But kind of started to get a little adventurous and trying new foods and cooking a little bit more at home with you and, that kind of stuff. And then I just met with my recent nutritionist that I met with was actually, I took a poop test, took a gut test to really see. And that was the most humbling.
Yeah, I got in so much trouble for being like,
Humbling.
"Oh, we found out you had leaky gut."
Yeah.
I was
Most
like, "But that's what it's
humbling
called."
experience that I have ever gone through is taking my own poop test at home, but really getting the inside of that. And I did gluten free for a little bit to try to heal my gut. I'm still in the process of that. I'm not doing it all the time. But I feel like information is good. I think knowledge when it comes to food is good. I also
That would be the next thing that I would want to know from her is she doing anything like that? Is there any kind of I know she said she was doing blood work.
Yep. Yep.
But whenever they feel the need to reveal that,
Mm-hmm.
I'd really want to know that because I would assume that that would be something that, I mean, that everybody has to deal with. You have to find that out. What's good for your body, what's good to eat for your body, what your body can tolerate. I know that we've seen in many CrossFit games, documentaries, behind the scenes, whatever, that they all the CrossFit Games athletes talk about, figuring out what their body can tolerate and what it can't tolerate. So I wonder if that's something that they're doing, if they are doing a gut test, if they are doing all those
Like
things.
extra tests, and for
Yeah.
me it's just more knowledge. I just experience bloat a lot with
Yeah.
a lot of foods that I eat, and my body was because I really didn't have any good bacteria in my stomach, because what would happen is that I would experience bloat with certain vegetables, so then I would kind of cut vegetables out and I went more for the raw vegetables, and actually my right now where my gut is, I don't tolerate raw vegetables. So I have to cook all my vegetables. So that was a big change for me. I love eating like raw
The
carrots and
fun
all this
thing
type of
too
stuff.
is I wonder this partnership that they have together, the bean and the bat. I wonder if the bat understands that the bean is a woman and there's going to be bloat sometimes, and we fluctuate between I don't know. I fluctuate between 5 pounds and 6 pounds in the middle of the month. Or
Yes.
so I wonder if the okay kids, I have to go. Catch you later. Text rip.
Bye, Jeffrey. We
Bye,
appreciate
Jeffrey. We
you.
love you. Thank you. Um, so I wonder if the bat has had that conversation yet too, because training a woman and talking to a woman, there's going to be weight differentials.
Not just monthly, daily,
Yeah.
hourly. Like by the time when I start off my day, my body looks the way that it looks. And by the end of the day, it's not the same, because I fuel it. I'm drinking my water all day, all that kind of stuff. So the body changes all day, and so that's why there's this whole thing about, my question is she weighing herself in the morning, or is she weighing herself in the middle of the day? Is she weighing herself at night? Because in my experience, I've experienced. Oh yeah, crowbar. He's good
I was
for
gonna say, Jan Clark, if you want a wrench, you got a wrench, my man.
it.
Um,
If I was to take my weight 3 different times a day, it would not be the same.
yeah.
Just because the body changes all the time. Depends on what you eat, depends on how much water you take in, depends on other drinks that you have. You having coffee in the day, you're having, other things like that. So,
All right, let's hit the slides that she got. She got a couple of special
oh,
slides
that's me.
or
Okay,
stories. Yeah, that's you.
I got you.
And the first one basically says, "Girl, tell me how someone gets disqualified from the CrossFit Games Open. There's a lot of excellent coaches that I'm sure you would be willing to be your coach. I know a few I could reach out if you want me to." And she's basically like, "Nah, thank you." And for me, you obviously either didn't watch anything from Hiller ever, because Hiller very adamantly says that he's on peptides or whatever it is that he's on.
Hmm.
And how do you eh, you're you just this person thinks that they know better than Athena and Hiller about what's good for Athena and Hiller. You're offering some sort of I get it. But you don't like him. Everybody knew that's what Hiller wanted. Hiller wanted for CrossFit to do the right thing and catch him
Hmm.
and not let him compete in the open.
Hmm.
That was his point. That was his goal. That was his thing,
Yeah.
to make CrossFit better. So whoever this person is didn't watch long enough to see what his actual goal was.
Yes, because I think you're looking at Hiller in 2 different parts. You're looking at Hiller and his page and his own fitness and the open and his views on CrossFit and blah 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 blah. And then this is very different from that.
Yeah.
And I believe, with hearing him and watching their check-in videos that they do, and his
to,
posts and stuff like that, and then
to
you
me,
hear.
to me, this just sounds like somebody wants to be mad at him. Like there's no way to actually like they're not listening to him. They just want to be mad at him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Hiller the coach is not the same as Hiller the YouTuber. I don't believe, in the interactions that I've seen. He's very thorough. He's very committed to his athletes. He has weekly check-ins. I mean, you have coaches that take your, or like, yeah, I'll coach you and then disappear and you don't hear from them for a while. He seems like he prides himself in being a very good coach. And that is the misconception that there's only one side to him. Before this, it was showing Hiller in the light that he wanted to show himself as a YouTuber, as a content creator. And so now we get to see him as a coach, and people aren't willing to actually believe that this is him as a coach. So I think
to believe that two things can be true, that he can be a really good person and also call it like he sees it.
yeah.
And his opinion is his opinion.
Well, I mean, you said it
that
perfectly.
Judy Reed, he's very knowledgeable and seems open to learning. He will probably learn just as much from Athena as she will from him. I absolutely agree.
100%. Yeah.
And I think he is already.
That's what you do. When you get into a coach athlete relationship, I mean, my athletes, I learn a lot from my athletes. Like,
I just think two things can be true. I think he
Yes.
can be on YouTube. I think he can be polarizing. I think he can call things like he sees it. And also, he can be the defender of standards in CrossFit. He can be the defender of, what we all want CrossFit to look like. And he can be a really good coach and help someone who has asked him for it. Those two things can both be true at the same time.
Yeah, you said it last night or whatever. And that's also the thing that, I respect about him too, is that he is who he is.
Yeah, and Clark. Yeah, people want to be offended.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they live for that. That's their thing.
And I also think too is that people want to be a part of the story.
Yeah.
People want to be like, oh, I was the one that was like, girl, this is not good for you. Go find a new coach. And that they found the coach. You know what I mean? Like,
bring up the next one. Bring up the next one, because that's what I named the episode for.
Which one? This one?
No, the next one after that.
Oh, I want to put this one up here. 100% agree with this.
But they're forgetting he was an affiliate owner. He's a coach. He's a caring person. He's right. He can call people out for shitty standards and sometimes their behavior. Absolutely.
I can't find it.
So not fair. Yeah, this was her answer, right? To that, people saying this kind of thing are missing the entire point. Yeah, they are. It's two grown people that are coming together to do something awesome for the community, to show people how to sit down and talk and have a conversation. And also, too, the same thing that I just said, two things can be true. Athena needed a coach, needed someone to push her, needed someone to be accountable to.
And at the end of the day, it was her choice.
Right. And there was
literally was her choice. So
absolutely. So that's my thing on that. People are just going to try to interject themselves into and try to tell her she's wrong, try to tell him he's wrong, and whatnot. The one thing that I thought was pretty cool that I wanted to bring up last night, I don't know what y'all think, but Athena's holding a Proven she's holding one of her workshops for Scaled Nation at Proven. Right? And yeah, she's holding one of her larger body workshops at Proven. She's now working with Hiller as well. He's her coach. And as I said last night, Hiller just called out Proven a little bit. So you think there's any conflict of interest in there at all? Do you think that, there might, I don't know because I think Hiller and Athena are gonna probably roam around the country and do things together and set up things together. I think their partnership's pretty strong in what they're trying to do and what they're trying to create. And now Proven has basically just blocked Hiller altogether. So anybody think there's a
conflict of interest?
Thank you.
I don't. Unless you make it a conflict of interest. I think her business, Scaled Nation, and her seminar has nothing to do right now with the journey that she's doing with Hiller, as Hiller being her coach. And I think that the greater message and the greater thing is that she can still bring the knowledge of Scaled Nation to an affiliate, which is what she has worked to do. So I think it's only a conflict of interest if they make it a conflict of interest. Maybe if he was going to go, maybe they would say, due to recent events, Hiller's not welcome. And then she could make the choice for herself on whether she would still want to go or not. But I don't think it should be, because her seminar is going to help the proven coaches be able to reach more of the community. So I don't think it is a conflict unless they create and make it a conflict.
I'm curious about it. I don't think it will be a conflict of interest on Athena or Hiller's end, but the way that Proven handled Hiller by just blocking him, no conversation, nothing,
Mm-hmm.
kind of shows where they're at.
It says more about them than it
Right.
does Hiller.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I just wanted to pull this up right here. Jake Chapman, people getting offended on other people's behalf is just the worst. You're right.
Mhm.
You're right. I don't
Yeah.
need you to be upset for me. I can be upset for myself and I'll handle it myself.
Mhm.
And I don't think that Proven will do that. Hiller is kind, not nice. That's what people don't want to understand. That's fair. Right. Like,
Mhm.
he's a good person, but he's still gonna tell you what you think. It's gonna be direct, and you can either take it and do with it. But just running away and blocking him,
It's just easier to do that.
right?
I said that yesterday. It's just easier for some people to block him because they don't want to have the conversation.
I just think that there's like, hey, I'm above you. I don't need to talk to you, so I'm just going to write you off and
Well,
whatever.
it's also a person's choice on how much of their personal stuff that they actually want to share. And the way that Proven's departure happened from um, CrossFit East Nashville
Yeah.
isn't a good look. And not everybody wants to address when they're put in a light that's not great. So especially when it's like game season, like it's time to, get ready for the open and that kind of stuff. But
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, Heidi. But they don't have to talk to him. You're right. They don't.
mm-hmm,
They don't owe him anything. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to respond at all.
mm-hmm.
They can't. It's just, I wonder what that's going to do for them, especially after the rainstorm kind of fiasco. But no, they don't. Absolutely not.
Well, I mean, it was the same constant conversation about having Sevon at the games and the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Or people lost.
awful, and why would you invite him? And why would you do that? He calls people out. He's toxic. He's this. He's that, and whatever. And so people are gonna have opinions. People are gonna have comments. People are not gonna want to do things because certain people are around. But that is a personal choice. So if I want to be a part of something, if someone is there that I don't like or whatever, or it's a personal choice.
The other thing she brought up to me, which I found interesting, is the whole concept of misery loves company. Right. So you have when we were kind of addressing it, the body positivity people, when those influencers are now trying to starting to do things for themselves, right? They're trying to be better, realize they can't live like this anymore. They want to do something different or whatever. The body positivity group loses their minds, right? Like, you're leaving us, you hate us, you don't want to be a part, you don't want us to be a part of you anymore, blah, blah, whatever. On the contrast, Athena doing what she's doing and saying, I want to do something different and I want to, try something different and have a coach and do all these things and hold myself accountable and whatnot. Her base, her people, the people that love her are now on board with her, right? They're like, yay, Athena's doing it. I'm going to go do it too. I'm going to go walk with Athena. I'm going to go do something like a hard thing today with Athena. I'm going to, they go with her.
Mhm.
Whereas all these other groups of influencers, their people turn on them immediately.
Yeah, because they have created, I guess, justification
Yeah,
for staying stagnant and staying where they are and saying that it's okay to, look this way, be this size, and all of these things. And so when someone changes that, we don't like change.
right.
And most of us don't like doing the hard work. We've talked about this on different podcasts before. Like, real change comes from you standing and looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah,
Like, and I'm talking about really looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing, mm, yeah.
yeah.
So, and people don't want to do that. They don't want to get to the root cause of where they're at and why they are
Because
there.
I think everybody though, like all of her people, they're trying to figure out their why. They're trying to figure
Hmm.
out how, like, I mean, it's not even just, hey, I need to lose weight or whatever, but just in life, like you're trying to figure out, hey, what hard things can I do? Hey, how does this make me better? Like she said, the weight loss is the byproduct of the journey,
Hmm.
and all of these, you know, internal things that she's doing right now, people are responding to, and they're going with her, and
Yeah, because if you don't get to a deeper cause as to why you are where you are and where you want to go, you will always end up where you were,
yeah,
because it's a, for lack of a better term, it's a superficial thing. You know what I mean? It's an
yeah.
outer layer thing, but it all comes from the inside. How did I get here? Why is this a thing? When do I do it? How do I do it? Why can't I stop? And there's always an emotional part to it, whether we realize it or not.
I
So
think
if you
I
don't get
wish she
down.
would have talked, or I wish they would talk about that more on their Monday check-ins.
Mhm.
'Cause I asked her that too. I was like, when she was kind of trying to think of topics for herself, I was just in my head. I think most people want to hear about the emotional part of it. Like, what's the emotional thing that's keeping you from getting to your goals? And
Mhm.
I think Hiller talked about it the other day. Why does Matt Frazier want to sit in a dark dank room with nobody and just work out, and Sammy is missing him and whatever, and he's doing it for a reason. Obviously it was a good reason. Now they're set up for the rest of their lives, but he was doing it for a reason, but he knew what his why was.
Mhm.
Do the I think Athena knows what her why is. I think a lot of but do a lot of people know what their why is? And is that something that she could help somebody with too? What are you doing it for your spouse? Because that's probably not, or maybe it is. Maybe that's the motivation that you need. Are you doing it for your kids? Are you doing it for
I mean,
whoever
it
you're doing it?
usually
Whatever it is.
yeah, I mean, it usually starts for, or in some cases, I should say, not usually, but it can start in some cases where you're doing it for something else. Like, I'm doing it for, like you said, a spouse. I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for my job. I'm doing it for my business, and fill in the blanks. But most of the time, or the root to all of that, is you. You are the root of your life. You.
Ooh, Jan Clark with the people don't like seeing other people change either. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. For sure. Cause then they get lonely, right?
Yep.
So if I change and get better and I can do other things that, we now can't do together, now you're mad at me because I can do more things.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
But
I
the
get
thing
that.
is like, I work on me so that everything else, or I work on me, and then everything else gets the result of that. If
Yeah,
I'm not okay, then our marriage is not okay.
right.
And if our marriage is not okay, then our parenting is not okay. And then our jobs are not okay.
Yeah,
And then and then it's a ripple effect. So the ripple effect starts with me. I am, when you look at a ripple, I'm the dot in the middle. I'm the cause of the ripple. And then everything out from that is because of that. And if I don't look inside, and again, I'm the root of me. I'm the only one that can control me. And I do that, and I do the hard work so that everything else around me ripples off of that.
yeah.
So people can start because of one of the rings of the ripple, but if you don't get to the cause and the beginning of the ripple, which is you, you're always going to it's going to be harder to reach. your goal and
Yeah.
and sustain the lifestyle that you really want.
And I wonder, this is another question that I would love to ask. I mean, I think eventually that she'll, come on for one of these. She said she would, but I would love to ask too, what, uh, shoot, I had it and I lost it. Man, I lost it. Sorry. Um, I just,
It'll come back.
yeah, it'll come back.
Hmm.
I saw that she's gonna do the open. At least I think I saw the post that she put up that she is gonna do the open. Um, I wonder if she's talked about that with Hiller. I wonder what the stress is around that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because a lot of people get stressed out during the open. I remember, a lot of friends. I got to do this. I got to do that. Am I going to be able to do this? Can I do this? It takes a really long time to get up and down and do burpees. It takes a lot of like the scaling, all that stuff, all the pressure that's around the open. So I wonder if they kind of talked about that and how they're gonna do that.
Hmm.
Um, because she looks excited, she sounds excited about it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I wonder how Hiller is helping her through this, or if he's going to scale her the open workouts when they come out for her. Because I know she wants to be supportive. I know she's going into the YOLO group and the Scale Nation group. And so
Hmm.
I kind of wonder what that looks like. There's a bit of stress when the open comes around for everybody
Yeah.
because you want to do your best and you want to beat yourself from the last year. Like that's just how everybody is. So
Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna go for her and what her motivation even is to do the open.
I mean, there's a couple things that I mean, it could be. It could be just in support. It could be in support of her Scale Nation community of like, as the leader, you're all doing it and signing up. I'll do it with you.
Yep.
It could be another scary, hard decision that she made. You know, the one hard thing that she did that day was sign up for the open and put it out in the public that she's going to do the open. That could be her hard thing, you know. Um, could be a couple of different things.
I'd be excited to see it. I think it could be a big thing. Um I know that Sevon is doing Taylor versus the world, which would be super
Shut
cool.
up. He is.
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
And then I think it'd be like Athena's traveling around. I think right now she's doing a workout, partner workout. I think it would be cool to show a scaled version of the open. I would love to know what that is. I mean,
Hmm.
and even more scaled, right? So they put out scaled workouts to do for the open, but this would be even more scaled than that.
Hmm.
And I wonder how Hiller's going to scale it. I know we can't know how he scales his own workouts because then obviously we don't have to pay to see what he.
Right.
I know she was nervous about volume and whatnot and whatever. So if they do the open, I'd be curious to know if he scales her workouts for the open and what those scales look like
I mean, it also
for
could,
larger bodied athletes.
yeah, it also could be a really good tool for them from a coach to coach perspective on how they would scale it together and be like, okay, so this is the workout. You know, how would Hiller scale? How would Hiller scale it? And then how would Athena scale it? And then they could have a conversation about it. Well, I would scale it this way, you know, and almost use it as like a teaching tool.
Yeah.
That way, I mean, not to release anything unless, you know, she chooses to release it to her own personal Scale Nation or whatever. But it could be a learning tool from a coach to coach perspective, um, to
Yeah.
learn from each other. You know, again, not just from that athlete coach perspective, but from a coach to coach perspective, because that's ultimately the goal, is to learn from each other.
Yeah. Well, this should be fun. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Uh, when we get some more news from her, I know that she's doing the vault workout today. Excited to see that video footage because I know she brought her GoPro. She was trying to learn how to use a GoPro, so that should be
Mhm.
super cool.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's pretty much that was the wrap up for today. That's this week, week 5. I know they're see if they go to I think they might be going to the UK together to do one of her
Oh, okay.
um seminars, which would be really cool. Isn't that's you guys, right? Isn't that Jake Chapman and Jan Clark
The
and
UK.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. But that'd be really cool.
Well, I
So,
do love the whole idea about creating these communities and whatever of like,
oh, there we go, 5th of May.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, what part of the UK is it? Like, where are you guys at? Okay. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, just like what Savon saying, like Taylor versus the world, and then on Coffee Pods and Wads, they were saying stuff like John Young versus Hiller. Um,
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen CrossFit leads on a podcast before. I don't know if it was Craig Ritchie's or I've heard about it at least. That's so cool. Awesome.
yeah,
Dude, I'm gonna have to message you.
that's
That's super
awesome.
cool.
Um, they were kind of throwing around different ones. I think it was like Friend versus Spin or something. Um,
Hey, what does anybody think about the fact that Brian Friend's coming on the coffee pods and wads around the whiteboard?
I'm
Anybody?
ready. I'm ready for it.
I'm ready for it.
Well, also because Josh Bridges is in there and
Well,
he's
yeah, true.
my favorite CrossFit athlete of all time. So I'm excited for that. But
That's gonna be fun.
yeah,
Oh, cool. The Isle of Man. That is like the coolest. And I'll drive over from Scotland. Okay,
very cool.
that's awesome.
Yep.
I'm ready for it. I can't wait.
But so to make the open fun, I'm interested to see because I know they brought back the first responders community again, where it's like
Yeah,
the first responder community in your town. So I'm interested to see these fun ones. They were talking again about having like Roe versus Boz back and like how that was just it was cool to see. Not that the elite athletes aren't cool to watch for for big fans like
yeah,
us, but it's also fun to see non-athletes compete versus each other and kind of have that and follow that narrative of like, okay, who's going to win? Who's going to win between these two? So, I hope that they watch Coffee Pods and Wads and I hope they make some more um
yeah.
versus teams of who's gonna because I think who did they put versus Taylor? Or
Oh,
maybe it was Friend versus Taylor. I don't remember.
yeah.
But they were funny ones that they were gonna do. So
Well, that's it. Being in the bat. When I get more info, I will always let you guys know. And I'll try to find out the answers. I really do want to know about the proven thing though, and see what happens. But
mhm.
that's super cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all.
Bye.
Deuces.